Hey, this is Timmara signing on with the final part of Mass Effect 3 Legendary Edition, and the Mass Effect Legendary Trilogy as a whole. So, last time, even though I said all that preamble last time, we were getting ready to go to Earth, headed there, started the siege against the Reapers, and just talking, commiserating, you know, stepping back into memory lane with everybody. Bleh, sorry. Okay. So, let's just talk to Anderson and kick this off.
Admiral, just going over the sitrep. How's it look?
Not good.
Barely 50% of Hammer has reported in.
Can we count on more making it?
There's some stragglers still en route. But the bulk of Hammer that's still intact has arrived. We're as ready as we're likely to get.
I'm almost
I'll check
ready.
on my team. We'll get going soon.
I'll give the battalion leaders the heads up. We'll be ready as soon as you are.
I didn't realize that was
Whenever
the...
you're ready.
Start the attack.
Let's move before the Reapers realize what we're up to.
Spent
Exactly,
a bulk of last time just talking to everybody one last time,
Report to HQ.
and I figured cut it because there's going to be a
fought hard
lot
to
to
get
go.
But now the toughest part of our mission begins. We've got to drive right
This is
through the
not...
heart of Reaper-controlled
This
territory.
could go as
Break
long
past
as
their defenses,
the end of my Final Fantasy
and get
VII
to that
Remake
beam.
Let's Play. That was
What
like,
kind of defense?
what, 2 hours?
The
In
entire
one
area
final
is crawling
video,
with
there was so
forces.
much going on.
But our biggest concern is the destroyer, protecting the beam itself.
Can we bring in air support to deal with it?
Negative. Some kind of interference. We'll have to take it out from the ground. Now they've cut a swath of no man's land through the city. We'll have to cross that first. There'll be some limited shelter on the other side, but expect heavy ground resistance. We need to get our tanks to here, if we get close enough. We've got a shot at taking that thing out.
How much of a shot?
They know we're
It's
This
a
will
small
be a one-way
bullet,
trip for
big
many of
target.
us. But there can be no retreat, no stepping back. We move forward at all costs, understood?
Booyah.
Yes, sir.
Johnson, Coates, you two will coordinate the artillery units. Shepard, I'm sending you right up the gut where the resistance is heaviest. Support the tanks the best you can, but stay alive.
That's kind of the important part.
Final push to the beam. I'll give you a minute with your squad. Pick your team well.
Right. Probably going with Liara and Garrus again, just cause.
This war has brought us pain and suffering and loss. But it's also brought us together. The soldiers, allies, friends. This bond that ties us together is something the Reapers will never understand. It's more powerful than any weapon. Stronger than any ship. It can't be taken or destroyed.
Friendship.
The next few hours will decide the fate of everyone in the galaxy. Every mother, every son, every unborn child. They're trusting you, depending on you to win them their future. A future free from the threat of the Reapers. But take heart. Look around you. You're not in this fight alone. We face our enemy together, and together we will defeat them.
Oh, I kind of felt like there should have been actually another thing he was going to say. Okay, as much as I want to bring other people, I want to bring Tali, I want to bring Javik, let's bring Liara and Garrus, my two mains. Don't need to change anything there. letting things play out. Not much to say until things really kick off. No, I was gonna be like, okay, how do we want to take care of this? Okay, just Prothean laser. The answer to everything, Prothean laser. Why didn't the Protheans think of this? Boy, how do you think Javik would react to that? It's like, wow, this Prothean laser. I don't know why the Protheans didn't do anything about this. Yeah, cross no man's land, like the final, you know, bullet corridor.
Anybody know how the hell we're supposed to take down a destroyer with tanks? Phalanx missiles can do a fuck ton of damage. If you say so, got the chat.
Oh.
You heard the Admiral. Now retreat.
Nope, not in range. Liara, warp ammo. Okay, that actually will do nothing to this. Well, whatever. It worked enough. Ow! I should have bought my own, you know, ammo modifier. Because using teammates, the ones from the teammates, like the warp ammo, and Scares have one? No, he doesn't. But using the teammates ones to do less effective probably would have been really good to stack the full power of a different type of ammo. Or
We'll try to clear the building.
yeah, sorry, I'm rambling.
Foxtrot and Bravo are taking heavy fire.
Help me out, big guy. Oh, get out of my way. Big guy? Oh. Does he also share the armor-piercing ammo with us, or...? I don't think so. Or is it? No, I don't think this one's sharing. I don't think he's got a share one.
Getting slaughtered out here, Commander.
No, I'm trying here. There's a lot going on.
Kilo company's being routed. Company's been taken out.
Oop.
Thanks.
Nope.
We're moving again.
Can't jump on the gun. Where? Oh. Metagel. Another thing in Metagel. Actually, I don't know why I'm picking it up. We're not even getting XP anymore. Oop. Oh yeah, I suppose... I didn't think about it. Are we like max level? Level 60. Yeah, we've maxed everything out. Just occurred to me, it's like, oh yeah, we are at max level. The level up system is kind of like a mix between 1 and 2, with like a lot of points and a lot of skills, but well, more like, yeah, a lot of points to spend and a lot of a lot of points to spend, so a lot of levels, but also like the progression and modifications of 2, which is a lot more interesting. It's usually just like a couple of percentages going up, but sometimes there's a bigger effect, like the double throw. I suppose that dominate really doesn't help. I should have experimented with more stuff. Like, I should have used more weapons. I should have tried, you know, more upgrades. I should have done a lot of stuff. Warp ammo and everything at the same time. I don't know if that does anything, but it looked...
Contact! This is Delta. We're being overrun. What's your location? Ah! God damn it.
Alright, find her streets! Gotta make sure they're okay. Yeah, so many weapons. I really have not used anything except the Prothean laser and that silenced pistol we grabbed from the DLC pretty much since I picked it up, because the Prothean laser is just so good. I know it's got another name, particle beam or whatever, but Prothean laser, that's where we got it, because of Javik. I didn't try anything out, I didn't try anything. I feel bad, but at the same time, this has been effective and useful.
The destroyer spotted us. We're prepping Phoenix missiles. Hold your fire. We won't do anything but piss it off. Roger that. But we may have no choice. Understood.
If we just rush, can we just get past it?
Missiles. Any effect? Negative. Can't get a lock. Something's messing with our guidance. We're almost there, Abel. Hold on.
Oh god. Wasn't sure. Sorry, we're just getting war chatter while we're just going through a bunch of grunts, so it's just sort of like, we're just going. Whoops. Ooh, that was close. Good boy. Oh god. Oh god. Armor-piercing ammo? There's a brute behind me still, isn't there? It's because I'm not paying attention. I'm trying to rush here.
Going for the tanks! Protect the tanks at all costs. Without those missiles, we've got no chance.
All units, open fire! Where's our fire support? We need reinforcements on them!
Alright. Getting real close. Oh, what was that? That was a weird jump. Oh. I suppose we gotta... God damn it. Oh, come on. Reload the damn thing. God, okay. This is what I get for pushing.
There's the artillery.
But the company's been wiped out.
Commander, do you read me?
Major, what's the situation?
The beams
Fire the damn
interfering with
things.
missile guidance. We can hit the destroyer, but we'll never make the precision strike we need to take it out.
Damn it. Edie, can you read me?
Yes, Commander.
Any suggestions?
I may be able to use the Normandy systems to enhance the missile's targeting capabilities.
Excellent.
I'll need you to open a link to the Normandy from the missile systems.
On it.
Oh, start with the one back there. Do the thing!
That's it. I'll let you know when I've adapted the targeting systems.
We'll see.
Hammer, this is Admiral Anderson. The Reaper ground forces are making a push. Hold your ground. Protect those tanks until we can get a shot.
You heard it, people. Get ready.
There they are!
I'm paying attention. So I also got a lot of other stuff on my mind, doing other things. I can basically just squeak this out tonight. Oops. Grenade. Ah, jeez. Where's the thing now? Oop. Ah! Okay. Anything?
We tried to hold them off, but they destroyed our trucks. Overwhelmed our position. Your left flank is gone. They're headed your way. Sorry, sir.
Hang in there, soldier. Heads up. We've got more incoming.
We'd better cover
Left.
our left flank.
I was really hoping. Where'd the Banshee go? Oh. There we go. Marauder dodged out of the way and got caught in the singularity. Is that really, can I really stack both effects, or is it just the warp ammo? I'm not sure, it's only telling me the warp ammo, so I'm not sure if they stack or if I was just dealing a lot of damage out of nowhere. Stupid lift grenade. Oh, maybe it did work. I think he's just getting closer.
Missiles are ready for launch.
Got it. You heard her. Back to the truck, people.
Another one. Reapers are just one big Hans Zimmer bomb.
Missile guidance enhanced.
Firing.
Countering interference.
Did it hit?
Sort of.
What happened?
The Reaper is still too close to the beam.
We're down to 2 missiles.
And we haven't even made a dent.
You will need to allow the Reaper to move out of the beam's influence.
And closer to us.
Commander, Hammer's being overrun at every turn. Reaper ground forces are converging on your location. We're fighting our way to you. Hold on, Commander. Hold on.
Goddess, more are coming?
Hold on, everyone. We can do this.
We're about to find out. Here they come.
Final push. In theory, you'd think this dominate would be really awesome. The dominate, even maxed out, doesn't last very long and doesn't do a whole ton. It's just getting closer and closer. couldn't remember. Do Groots have like an insta-kill thing if they get too close? I don't remember. I don't want to test it out, so I don't want them getting too close. Oh. How is... Oh god. Okay, we got it just in time. Should be... Oh, never mind. At least kill a Banshee real fast. Grenade! Probably doesn't do anything. Jeez. Whoops. Get into cover. Get into cover. I just need a damn minute. Okay. God, come on. Heal. Get away from me. I may be getting too cocky. This might be the... I think this is the easiest difficulty, but even still, we're getting way overrun. This is probably, well, insane on insanity. I don't even want to deal with it. I'm sure there's a way. I don't care. I am not bothering and wasting my time with that. Knowing the cover shooter, you should be using cover, but, you know, it's also fun just to, like, stand up and shoot and move more.
The destroyer is in range.
Depends.
Missiles are ready for launch.
Roger.
Targeting is online. Reapers within range.
Firing!
There we go.
Going down! Hit him with everything you've got.
Destroyer terminated.
Yay!
Nice work, Edie.
General, we're on our way to your location.
Roger that.
Hurry it up.
Shepard! Over here! Thank God you made it.
It didn't look good.
It gets worse.
Of course it does.
Hackett just reported in. Several Sovereign-class Reapers, including Harbinger, have broken off from the battle with Sword. They're headed here.
Harbinger.
It's an opportunity for Hackett to get the Crucible in place. But we have to get a team on board the Citadel to open those arms now.
We still don't even know what we'll find when we get to the Citadel.
Then that's our job. Find out what we're up against.
All right. Saddle up, everybody. Get me Admiral Hackett. here on in, it's a straight shot to the beam.
Yay.
Straight shot with Reapers trying to crush us along the way.
We just need to get a handful of troops through.
That all?
We knew this was going to be a gamble at best.
Yeah, but
Can't think of anyone else I'd rather do this with.
I'm honored to be part of your team.
yeah.
We're in sight of the target.
All right, everyone. This is it.
And this is where everything goes to hell.
Shit.
And there's Harbinger. The original Reaper, if I recall correctly, by all accounts.
We gotta move! Come on!
Run speedy like.
Hammer squads, go, go, go!
Someone pick me up? Okay, maybe that's a bad idea. Bigger target. Now this is where everything really kicks off. This is where things get complicated. Got my good shields. What are you gonna do, Harbinger? Meh. Hope the team I brought doesn't get killed because of me. Oh god. Is everyone okay?
Normandy, do you copy? I need an evac, right now.
Get these two out of here. And I wonder, I think I read that if you don't have a lot of war assets, then people just die after this. So, I mean, like, you know, they don't survive long enough for an
I'm
evac.
all right, Shepard.
Don't argue with me, Liara.
You're not leaving me behind.
They'll just slow me
No
down.
matter
That's
what
not the last thing she wants to say. You want to say to her.
Everything to me, Liara.
Shepard,
Gotta go. Galaxy to save.
Go!
Sorry. Don't trust anyone else to take care of her but my space bro. Now get the hell out of here. All right.
They're all gone.
Did we get anyone to the beam?
Negative. Our entire force was decimated. It's too much. We need to regroup. Fall back to the buildings.
Hammer's wiped out. All forces, retreat!
All right, we're not looking too good. And Harbinger took off. Some thoughts on that? Maybe he thought no one survived, and so he just decided to go off to space to fight. Now, this is where things get complicated, but we'll dish out those thoughts as we go. Oops. Almost there. Oop. Marauder shields, damn you. He's kind of a meme. He's like the last guy you shoot at, I think. Big piles of bodies. I don't know. There's a lot of theory. I've read some theories in there. Whee! Patriot. Make the final assault.
Holy shit. You did it. This is the Admiral. We've got reports that someone made it to the Citadel.
Don't know who, but someone.
Time to get those doors open. All fleets converge on the Crucible. Protected at all costs.
Alright. Oh god. A keeper. I was like, what is that? Oh.
Shepard.
Ooh, that was jolty.
Shepard.
Anderson. You up here too?
I followed you up, but we didn't come out the same place. No. At least I don't think we did. What's your surrounding look like?
Pretty gross.
You okay?
I feel like death. But I'm moving. It's dark. There's human remains scattered.
Sounds familiar. I'm in a dark hallway. Reminds me of your description of the collector base.
Makes sense.
You think they're making a Reaper in here?
Sure. They round them up on Earth, then send the people up here to be processed.
Goddamn abomination. I'm gonna keep moving. The sooner we blow these bastards back to hell, the better.
Yeah, so big
Troops don't go on forever.
mess.
But where the hell are we?
Yeah. Doesn't look like any part of the Citadel I've been to.
And I saw some points made, like you're seeing, you know, maybe they're just recycled models, but you're seeing a lot of people wearing armor that we only saw Ashley ever wear in the first game. That's just something to note.
There's a chasm here. And more hallways like the one I was in.
I think I'm near an exit.
Although this is the Citadel, that's okay. They got a lot done pretty quickly, it seems.
I see something up ahead. Might be a way to cross over.
Don't get too far ahead of me.
Go around the body pile. Yeah, just slow, injured walking.
Just found that chasm we were talking about.
Hold on. I see something. A control panel, maybe. I'm just gonna go on.
Anderson. Damn it.
Almost there. One more limping to go. All the metagel I had saved up don't have a spot to use. Hey. How could he have gotten here? There's no other entrance.
Anderson.
He's looking on.
Shepard. I can't.
I underestimated you, Shepard.
What a...
I warned you. Control is the means to survival. Control of the Reapers, and of you, if necessary.
Yeah, he, like, Reapered himself up, like his soldiers.
They're controlling you.
I don't think so, Admiral.
I'm positive.
Controlling me is a lot different than controlling a Reaper.
Have a little faith. When humanity discovered the mass relays, when we learned there was more to the galaxy than we imagined, there were some who thought the relays should be destroyed. They were scared of what we'd find, terrified of what we might let in. But look at what humanity has achieved. Since that discovery, we've advanced more than the past 10,000 years combined.
With the help of all the alien races who've met along the way, but I digress.
1,000-fold. But
And yeah, you're seeing like the shadows and marks.
we can harness their ability to control.
Bullshit. We destroy them, or they destroy us.
And waste this opportunity? Never.
You didn't earn this power. No. So he, you know, the implication is, already indoctrinated by the Reapers, he thinks he's in control like Saren was,
You're
but
playing
him
with
putting
things you
Reaper
don't
stuff into him,
understand.
maybe he's got access to,
Power you shouldn't be able to use.
maybe indoctrination himself.
I...
And I've heard some contention about that. We'll get there.
If we can control it, why shouldn't it be ours?
Because we're not ready.
No. This is the way humanity must evolve.
By being completely not human.
Always another way.
I've dedicated my life to understanding the Reapers, and I know with certainty the Crucible will allow me to control them.
And then what?
Look at the power they wield. Look at what they can do.
I see what they did to you.
I took what I wanted from them, made it my own.
So you
This
think.
isn't about me or you. It's about things so much bigger than all of us.
He's wrong. Don't listen to him.
And who will you listen to, Shepard? An old soldier stuck in his ways, only able to see the world down the barrel of a gun? And what if he's
It's the whole reason we're doing this, so he doesn't have to do that anymore.
The Reapers is the answer.
If we destroy the Reapers, this ends today. But if you can't control them...
But I can!
are you
I'm
willing
sure
to
of
bet
it.
humanity's existence on it?
I know it will work.
You can't, can you? They won't let you do it.
No! I'm in control! No one is telling me what to do!
Listen to yourself. You're indoctrinated.
No! No! The two of you so self-righteous. Do you think power like this comes easy? There are sacrifices.
You've sacrificed too much.
Shepard,
You sacrifice needlessly.
I only wanted to protect humanity. The Crucibles can control it. I know it can. I just...
It's not too late. Let us go. We'll do the rest.
I can't do that, Commander.
Of course you can't. They own you now.
You'd undo everything I've accomplished. I won't let that happen.
Because of you, humanity is already undone.
That's not true!
They have the Citadel. They've got us fighting each other, instead of fighting them.
I just need to
And the reason this got so bad is because of you.
You're still doing it because they control you.
They're too strong.
You're stronger. Don't let them win. Break their hold. Don't let them control you.
I tried, Shepard.
And there we have it. Kind of a retread of what we did with Saren. Thoughts on that, but whatever. You know, point still stands for everything we did. Just, yeah, kind of redid the thing that happened with Saren. Just like, you know, I'm totally not under their control, even though I am, and I have just enough willpower to fight back. But, you know, point being, but, you know, again, I've dished out my thoughts on the Elusive Man. Martin Sheen, great character, or great portrayal at least.
This is it, everyone. The alarms are opening.
Oh god, the Crucible's falling apart. This wasn't supposed to happen. Giant disco ball that's gonna do crazy awesome stuff all over the galaxy.
That's it. The Crucible is docked.
Now what will it do? That's the next question. Been through hell. Sorry I shot you. No control.
Commander?
We did it.
Yes, we did. It's quite a view.
Best seats in the house.
God. Feels like years since I just sat down.
I think you earned a rest. Anderson? Stay with me. We're almost through this.
You did good, son. You did good. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, sir. Anderson?
Damn. Yeah.
Shepard? Commander?
Hey. What do you need me to do?
Nothing's happening. The Crucible's not firing.
I think we have to do something about that.
It's gotta be something on your end.
Of course it is, because I gotta do everything. Sorry. Inappropriate time to be cracking jokes.
Commander Shepard.
I'm working on it.
I don't see... I'm not sure how to...
Commander.
All right. Now where everything comes together or falls apart. Depends on how you look at it. But here we go. I'm confused already, is probably the immediate reaction.
Wake up.
What? Where am I?
And who the hell are you?
The Citadel. It's my home.
Who are you?
I am the Catalyst.
I thought the Citadel was the catalyst.
No, the Citadel is part of me.
I need to stop the Reapers. Do you know how I can do that?
Perhaps. I control the Reapers. They are my solution.
Right. This is where it gets confusing, but I'll try my best.
To what?
Chaos. The created will always rebel against their creators. But we found a way to stop that from happening. A way to restore order.
By wiping out organic life?
No, we harvest advanced civilizations, leaving the younger ones alone. Just as we left your people alive the last time we were here.
But you killed the rest.
We helped them ascend, so they can make way for new life, storing the old life in Reaper form.
I think we'd rather keep our own form.
No, you can't. Without us to stop it, synthetics would destroy all organics. We've created the cycle so that never happens. That's the solution.
Yeah, this is where things get really complicated, because in taking the shape of the kid that's been haunting our dreams this entire time, what is going on? And this is, at the same time, something even above the Reapers. So...
Where did the Reapers come from? Did you create them?
My creators gave them form. I gave them function. They, in turn, give me purpose.
It's the
Reapers are a
Leviathans.
synthetic representation of my creators.
Leviathan.
Yes, they created me to oversee the relations between synthetic and organic life, to establish a connection. They became the first true Reaper. They did not approve, but it was the only solution.
It's the...
You said that before. But how do the Reapers solve anything?
Keep things
Organics
going.
create
Keep the clock
synthetics to
spinning.
improve their own existence, but those improvements have limits. To exceed those limits, synthetics must be allowed to evolve. They must, by definition, surpass their creators.
A very
The result is
extreme
conflict,
advancement of, like, the
chaos.
generational gap,
It
if
is
you will.
Inevitable. Reapers harvest all life, organic and synthetic, preserving them before they are forever lost to this conflict.
Taking what they gather to create a new Reaper in order to use it to basically make the next.
With the Reapers right now.
You may be in conflict with the Reapers, but they are not interested in war.
I find that hard to believe.
When fire burns, is it at war? Is it in conflict? Or is it simply doing what it was created to do? We are no different. We harvest your bodies, your knowledge, your creations. We preserve it, to be reborn in the form of a new Reaper. Like a cleansing fire, we restore balance. New life, both organic and synthetic, can once again flourish.
Okay, yeah, a lot of complicated stuff.
You said you're the catalyst.
There's a lot to discuss here.
What
A
are
lot of
you?
theories.
A construct, an intelligence designed eons ago to solve a problem. I was created to bring balance, to be the catalyst for peace between organics and synthetics.
There's a lot of bloom going on right now.
Inasmuch as you are just an animal, I embody the collective intelligence of all Reapers.
There's even a hint...
We're
Well,
created.
hold on.
Correct.
Unlike everything else, he suppressed everything
By
else.
ones who recognized that conflict would always arise between synthetics and organics. I was first created to oversee the relations between synthetic and organic life, to establish a connection. But our efforts always ended in conflict, so a new solution was required.
The Reapers?
Precisely.
Doesn't answer that much, and now that we have Leviathan DLC, I think...
Met your creators. They told me what you did to them.
We did as we were expecting.
They said you betrayed them. That you turned them into Harbinger.
When they asked that I solve
If
the
anything,
problem of
this might
conflict,
actually
they failed to understand they were
be
part of the problem
Harbinger,
themselves.
or at least the precursor
The
to.
flaws of their organic reasoning could not perceive this. They lacked the foresight to understand their destruction was part of the very solution they required.
Well, they've joined this war now.
And I welcome their involvement. I am only facilitating their request.
Yeah. So if this was all started by Leviathan, basically, you know, did Leviathan or the species or whatever create, you know, start off by creating this AI, and then from there, this is the solution it came to, basically being the true brain of the Reapers, which, if Harbinger was the first, it's not too hard to, you know, maybe this is Harbinger's, like, I guess you could say, original form, and from there he created his Reaper
What do you
self.
know about the Crucible?
The device you refer to
And
as
maybe
the
he's presenting us
Crucible
as
is
this
little more
kid,
than
just as a
power
way
source.
to mainly
However,
mess with Shepard.
in combination with the Citadel and the relays, it is capable of releasing tremendous amounts of energy throughout the galaxy. It is crude, but effective and adaptive in its design.
Who designed it?
You would not know them, and there is not enough time to explain. We first noted the concept for this device several cycles ago. With each passing cycle, the design has no doubt evolved.
Why didn't you stop it?
Want to see what would happen.
We believe the concept had been eradicated. Clearly, organics are more resourceful than we realized.
Yeah, basically like the Geth central hive mind, I guess you could say. Well, that's not necessarily accurate, but you know what I mean. Just like, this is the soul, or did I say Geth? This is the soul of the Reapers, is just how I'm processing it.
But you're taking away our future. Without a future, we have no hope. Without hope, we might as well be machines. Programmed to do what we're told.
You have hope, more than you think. The fact that you are standing here, the first organic ever, proves it. But it also proves my solution won't work anymore.
So now what?
We find a new solution.
See how that one goes. Try it again.
Why help me?
Because you impressed
have
them.
altered the variables.
What do you mean?
The Crucible changed me, created new possibilities, but I can't make them happen. If there is to be a new solution, you must act. It is now in your power to destroy us. But be warned, others will be destroyed as well. The Crucible will not discriminate. All synthetics will be targeted.
Edie, the
Even
Geth.
you are partly synthetic.
Yeah.
What exactly will happen?
Your Crucible device appears to be largely intact. However, the effects of the blast will not be constrained to the Reapers.
As he said, it's crude.
Technology you rely on will be affected, but those who survive should have little difficulty repairing the damage. There will still be losses, but no more than what has already been lost.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, synthetics. We're going down because of basically being brought back by Cerberus. The Geth, Edie, the Reapers, and much more.
But the Reapers will be destroyed?
Yes, but the peace won't last. Soon, your children will create synthetics, and then the chaos will come back.
There has to be another
It'll
way.
basically start from scratch.
There is. You could instead use the energy of the Crucible to seize control of the Reapers.
as...
The elusive man was right after all.
Yes, but he could never have taken control, because we already controlled him.
And confirms the indoctrination.
You will die. You will control us, but you will lose everything you have.
How can I control the Reapers if I'm dead?
Your corporeal form will be dissolved, but your thoughts and even your memories will continue. Your connection to your kind will be lost, though you will remain aware of their existence.
And so basically, I guess I can say all the Reapers will become Shepard with that empathy for everything.
Yes.
But
We will be yours to control and direct as you see fit. There is another solution. Synthesis.
And that is?
Add your energy to the crucibles. The chain reaction will combine all synthetic and organic life into a new framework, a new DNA.
yeah, that's a pretty big leap.
Explain how my energy can be added to the Crucible.
And how that will do what you say it will.
Your organic energy, the essence of who and what you are, will be broken down and then dispersed.
To do what, exactly?
The energy of the Crucible, released in this way, will alter the matrix of all organic life in the galaxy.
Well, we are...
Organics seek perfection through technology. Synthetics seek perfection through understanding. Organics will be perfected by integrating fully with synthetic technology. Synthetics, in turn, will finally have full understanding of organics. It is the ideal solution. Now that we know it is possible, it is inevitable we will reach synthesis.
Why couldn't you do it sooner?
Yeah,
We have tried a similar solution in the past, but it has always failed.
Why?
Because the organics were not ready. It is not something that can be forced.
yeah.
You are ready, and you may choose it.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Why not? Synthetics are already part of you. Can you imagine your life without them?
And there will be peace?
The cycle will end. The Reapers will cease their harvest, and the civilizations preserved in their forms will be connected to all of us.
and
Synthesis is the
maybe something
final
like this.
evolution of all life. The paths are open, but you have to choose.
Yeah. So, how does this end? And there's also a fourth option. We could just literally walk away. Can't save right at the ending, Tron 3000, as some have called it. Okay. So, a lot to process here, and this is what begins the contentiousness of, you know, the final part of Mass Effect 3. This is the ending, no matter what direction you go, is what's caused so much controversy when Mass Effect 3 originally released. Because really, none of the three options are all that good. Shepard dies... Really, he dies doing any of the three. There's a loophole, but whatever. But yeah, it's destroy, get rid of the Reapers, but it also gets rid of the Geth, EDI, and anything similar, which, despite everything we've done to, you know, basically make peace, you know, we've kind of proved that the Geth, you know, synthetics and organics can get along with the Geth and the Quarians. It's a small scale in the grand scheme, but it's still something. It can be done. But that's not guaranteeing. And basically, to get rid of the Reapers, to destroy them, will be, you know, committing genocide on the Geth. And after everything they've done, you know, control, do what the elusive man said, that kind of caving into him, but controlling the Reapers, basically making like a giant galactic police force, if you will, the ultimate weapon across the entire galaxy, completely under the control of, well, not under the control, but under the influence of Shepard. So that in turn will, you know, again, basically an almighty, powerful hive to defend all life. Which sounds compelling, but it also could mean the Reapers will just get out again or release from that, or maybe be yet another threat. After everything we've done, having the Reapers suddenly just be around does not sound like a great idea either. And then synthetic. Meld everything into one. And it just occurred to me, I know I've seen people say, you know, how does that make sense? You know, sorry, how does that make sense by doing this? How does that, you know, add synthetic abilities, or, you know, make organic synthetic and or synthetics organic? Well, since Shepard's kind of a mix of both, it kind of makes sense that his, like, a little bit of him is going to be in everything in the galaxy. So I think that's the implication. So that's the implication, I think. And with that consensus, if everything, basically with all that organic synthetics becoming one, it's just that unified, you know, experience, both sides learning what it's like to be synthetic, what it's like to be organic, and all learning it at once. But you're forcing that decision on every single thing in the galaxy. And yeah, it's just sort of like, you know, how long will that last? Will it? That's a lot to process, and we gotta shove it onto everybody. And then again, there's a fourth option where we can just turn around, refuse to do anything, and it just means the Reapers win. So that defeats the whole purpose of everything we've done to just do that. And yeah, this, you know, binary choice. The synthetic option wasn't even available when the game came out. It was added in as a DLC, which I think is why I think I had it. I think I had the update, or it was part of the disc on the 360 Legendary or 360 Mass Effect collection I had, or still have. And as I recall, and again, I did not process all this or be as philosophical about it as I was back then. And I'm pretty sure the first time I did it, I went with synthesize. It felt like it was the best way to completely unify everybody, quite literally. And, you know, processing it again, controlling the things we've been spending all this time trying to destroy, or destroy everything for good, but it also just destroys a lot of things that we've helped along the way. And, well, I shouldn't say more, but there's another thing that makes me want to lean towards destroy. And I think for reasons based on the Mass Effect 4 teaser trailer, that destroy is the canon ending, maybe, or at least a version of it. But I think we're gonna go with synthesize. All till all are one. Not really applying to here, but just out of these options, that's just what. But then again, I'm mulling it over. I wish I could kind of like show them all off and just see. Destroy does make sense, but I'm gonna go with synthesize. It's kind of it's a tough choice when you're thinking about it this much, but you know, this binary choice when originally it was just two options, and you know, and because of the color coding throughout the game, you know, control seems like the Paragon option, red or destroy seems like the Renegade option. So, you know, depending on your playthrough, people thought they were kind of like fed into a certain line of thinking. Legend. Mission accomplished. I hate to leave Liara behind, but again, who knows how this will continue. Finish Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 with the same character. We did it. I'd replay to do the other endings just to see, but
the Crucible is armed. Disengage and head to the rendezvous point.
I thought the synthetic line would also.
Get the hell out of here.
I'm trying to remember. I thought.
Jeff, we have to go.
I can't remember. I can't remember. I thought it was the synthetic option that also or at least I thought one of those options also destroyed the Mass Effect relays. So, you know, you kind of like sealed off everyone wherever they were stuck in the position they're in. I thought that's what synthetic did. I thought there was one option, as far as I remember, I thought there was one that destroyed the mass relays, so making the space travel impossible, or at least, you know, many years off. I don't remember, maybe I'm wrong. And, you know, that's gonna be a weird thought. Technically, combining everything, will that make... Oops. Will that make everything... I'm just thinking, will basically every organic life understand, like, where the Reapers are coming from when they do this? This has got to be a trip. On one hand, it's interesting to see everything experience pain the same way. Okay, the mass relays do get destroyed. I thought so. I could have sworn, I suppose, you know, in order to spread this out throughout the entire galaxy, you know, it's going to go through every avenue and destroy everything. So it's going to isolate for quite a while. But, you know, we did our best. So yeah, this has to be trippy when you really break it down. You can't outrun fate, Normandy! Yeah, a lot of weird stuff going on right now. Normandy crashed somewhere. Completely in sync. Although, kind of an odd ending shot to end on. So, yeah, what the hell was that? Is the common question. And, yeah, the synthetic option is weird for a lot of reasons. At least the Shepherd's a part of everybody now. Okay.
I am alive. All of us, synthetic and organic, have been changed. The war is over, and the Reapers are helping to rebuild. Where once they threatened us with extinction.
It's kind of like a weird
They now
mix
bring us
between...
the
it's
collective
kind of like an
knowledge of the
alteration of
cultures that came
control.
before.
Oh yeah, they would bring that knowledge. Of course.
As
Duh.
a galaxy, we can now live the lives we have wished for.
I kind of like the weird markings appearing on everybody. I actually think that's kind of cool. Aw. Oh, I mean, technically the hologram isn't synthetic, but...
and wonderful future, where organics and synthetics can coexist peacefully. With peace across the galaxy and with unlimited access to knowledge.
Oh. Babu Krogans.
To recover the greatness that was lost.
And I think this, you know, Where Are They Now section is kind of was added in after backlash from the original game.
We will reclaim our worlds and the stars. As the line between synthetic and organic disappears, we may transcend mortality itself. To reach a level of existence I cannot even imagine.
Okay, I'm feeling better about the synthetic option.
And we will remember that this chance for a new life did not come without cost.
I'm feeling better about this now, just like, you know, here's a what happens after, and it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, actually, you know, controlling the synthetic, or at least from what I understand, or how I'm interpreting it, David Anderson. Front and center for his service. I'm sorry, Liara. I didn't want to leave you behind. And a plaque for us, I bet.
No matter how far we advance, we will remember the sacrifices of those who made it possible.
It's going dark by not hitting anything in a while.
And we will remember Shepard. Because of him, I am alive. And I am not alone.
Okay. I'm actually kind of satisfied with that, honestly. You know, if it just maybe did I have the update when I originally played? It doesn't matter, because I just remember, yeah, that final shot of them on the planet, and then that was it. I don't remember an epilogue thing like that, like here's what your decision actually did across the galaxy, which again, I think that was part of like the extended version that released, you know, I can't remember, not terribly long after the game originally released, which was mainly damage control on the part of BioWare and EA. Where it's just sort of like, oh, people are upset about the ending, let's patch in another option and a little more clarification on how things ended, which it was a free update, I think, so, you know, you could say like, oh, maybe they made it bad on purpose just so people would buy the DLC to feel better about it, but they released it for free, so they maybe just did not think that people would get so infuriated by the ending. And yeah, exit the credits. Good job to everyone on BioWare. Sorry, post-credit scene?
Did that all really happen?
Yes, but some of the details have been lost in time. It all happened so very long ago.
Oh, don't ending Final Fantasy VII
When
this
can I go to the stars?
One day, my sweet.
What will be there?
Anything you can imagine. Our galaxy has billions of stars. Each of those stars could have many worlds. Every world could be home to a different form of life. And every life is a special story of its own.
Tell me another story about the shepherd.
It's
okay.
getting late, but okay. One more story.
Oh, jeez. You know, Legend of Shepard being passed on. This could be, you know, sounds like the same kid's voice, but maybe that's just a thing. So, you know, this could be who knows how many thousands, if not, you know, years in the future. On bringing the end to the Reaper threat, Commander Shepard has become a legend, and from here on you can continue to build that legend. It has been a long journey for Shepard and for the team here at BioWare, and like Shepard, we couldn't have done it alone. The Mass Effect trilogy began as the vision of a small team, but over the years, it has grown. That growth has been fueled and shaped by the feedback and support of our player community. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and we look forward to sharing further adventures with you in the Mass Effect universe. The Mass Effect team. It's been fun. It really has been. A lot of thoughts. So, what is... Okay, so we get started off right before the Cerberus headquarters. So, you know, we can still play and everything. And I've heard some people say, you know, their canon ending to the game is finishing the game, pretending Shepard lives somehow, and then doing the Citadel DLC. To claim that's how the story actually ended. But... okay, where to begin? So, that was Mass Effect 3. How was it? It is still really good. Not my favorite in the series, but, you know, 2, 3, 1. That's kind of how I'm feeling right now. Because the things that Mass Effect 3 does, and suppose go to the main menu. Okay, because, yeah, there's a lot. Because, where to begin? With more on that ending, and there are some interesting theories. The most prevalent one, the indoctrination theory, which people have gone over in more detail than I watched Game Theory, and I really wish he had done his part 2 on it, but I think since the topic had been covered elsewhere, he just decided to drop it. That seems to be the story. What was it? Big Dan Gaming, I just watched his video not too long ago, kind of like breaking down indoctrination theory and the idea. Basically, the thought is Shepard is already indoctrinated, and there is kind of hints at that. The kid we see, you know, early on in the game that haunts Shepard's dreams that are filled with these weird black shadows, which, based on how the Rachni describes the Rachni Queen described indoctrination, that seems to correlate. And, you know, in correcting, you know, the Rachni not indoctrinated by the Reapers, but by Leviathan in order to combat the Reapers, but similar, basically the same thing. The indoctrination effect. And so, yeah, Shepard in his dreams seeing this kid surrounded by these shadows and whispers and noises that the Reapers make, you know, scientifically, some people like to go into detail, the low frequency range, which can actually mess with your head. It's a whole thing. Again, there's a lot of stuff I don't need to go in all detail, but... And then the thought, yet Shepard's already indoctrinated, and some theory is that, the ending, that entire last section, basically starting from when we get hit by Harbinger's beam, is all a dream, and it's Shepard processing what he thinks is going to happen, or, you know, the, I guess you can say the Star Child, as he's been referred to as, the kid taking form, you know, kind of presents him with those options. It explains the, you know, the dream theory explains inconsistencies, like how did Anderson get there, how do we explain our wounds, how do we explain infinite ammo, the pedantic stuff, which I think is more for the sake of, you know, gameplay and story convenience and contrivance. Well, not contrivance. It's more, well, you know, yeah, contrivance. You know, it's not a plot hole, it's just contrivance to keep the game going, you know? We don't need to dissect how, you know, how Shepard's injuries stay consistent or how Anderson got to that room. I don't know, crazy stuff's happening. It's, you know, a sci-fi game. So, you know, there's some pedantic arguing about that, but also the writers of Mass Effect have gone on record talking about the indoctrination theory and going like, oh, that's really interesting. We didn't think of that. So people still like the indoctrination theory as a headcanon, and that's totally fine. You know, I don't know if I buy it, but it's a good theory, it's interesting, and it explains a lot of things, but not enough, or at least maybe with some weird contentions. But overall, though, and where that ending stands, and I remember Mass Effect 3 came out, you know, high review scores and everything. Once the public got their hands on it, it just got raged on. No, the ending was very divisive, and very few people I saw, like, give it a positive review and just go, like, you know, it was about, you know, it's like, you know what, it's fine. It wasn't about surviving. It was about, you know, saving the galaxy with my friends, whether I make it out or not, whether, you know, it was just like, it all brings up, it, you know, it's all gonna end that way anyway, so it makes sense for it too. But, you know, it's weird, because the other thing is, and the speculation of, mainly because not even addressing who the Star Child actually is, or why he's even addressing us in the shape he is. Again, my theory, it's maybe like the original AI, the original Harbinger, if you will. Like, that's the AI that created Harbinger, which then, you know, that's the AI that created the first Reaper, sorry, where to begin? That's the AI that was created by Leviathan to figure out this problem between organics and synthetics, and that from there, that AI eventually deduced destroy organics, recover what's left, add them to the, you know, the genocide squad, basically. And the original one, based off of Leviathan, was Harbinger. So, you know, by backtracking, I feel like that Star Child is the original Harbinger. And throughout the game, that also brings up another interesting thing. And I remember my friend telling me and my friend talking about this, he's also catching up on the trilogy, playing it again, and we're talking about stuff on and off. But he makes a point that, you know, despite, you know, all the resources taken from other races and societies to build new Reapers, the Reapers always have, like, a very similar shape. They look like Leviathan. You know, that's the tried and true, you know, method that works. But it's only when the collectors, but then when in Mass Effect 2, you go after the collectors, and they're building a new Reaper, but it looks like a human. That is the only deviation in Reaper technology that's changed in its design to look like a human. And that's from Harbinger, or, you know, at least the implication, Harbinger's idea, and maybe it's being modeled after Shepard. Because whatever they do, Shepard is, like, being able to kill a Reaper and being able to do as much as he has. The idea is, at least my idea, or at least my friend pitched the idea that Shepard has left an impression on the Reapers, on Harbinger. And therefore, you know, he's putting more of a target on humanity and seeing like, okay, maybe there's something there. Maybe, you know, Shepard impressed Harbinger. That's kind of what I'm getting at. And so Harbinger is deciding maybe we got to change things just to see how it looks. And so we'll build a human Reaper and then destroying that and then preparing for this war. And after everything, and after Harbinger's warning during arrival and coming also, you know, how Shepard could have been indoctrinated or because he's been around Reaper tech, even dead Reapers can still indoctrinate and just what was it? The Artifact Row, I think it was, from the Arrival DLC, being that close in contact to it, maybe could have had a lasting effect on him. Just a thought. But, you know, basically since 2, you know, after destroying Sovereign, Harbinger took notice of Shepard, and from there has been keeping a close eye on humanity as a whole. And the idea that Shepard brings up, being able to, you know, lead the charge to destroy a Reaper, which has never been done before in their case, and then modeling a new Reaper off of humans, and then the interactions with Shepard, and then still, after everything, that's why they attack Earth, you know, because that's where Shepard is, that's where humans are primarily from, we're taking them down, they are actually starting to become a threat because of Shepard. And then from there, after uniting the galaxy in order to fight the Reapers and not do a bad job of, like, combating them, Harbinger kind of, like, gives in to Shepard and says, like, you know what, you've done things that no one else has, that no other combinations of species, races, and no other civilization, no other singular being has ever done, and united synthetics, organics, and all these warring races and factions, and started to, you know, created this unity, at least is my thought. And again, my idea being the Star Child being Harbinger is him saying, like, you know what, you've proven to me that maybe I'm not infallible, maybe you can do something different, or at least I'll give you the option if you want to take it. So, what do you think? Do you want to control, take the Reapers, and then use them as the a defensive wall? Do you want to destroy us and fully confirm that? Which, you know, some point that was made is like, he points out, you know, he's very contentious about destroy. It's like, it's available to you, but I don't recommend doing it. You know, it's bad. So that's my theory anyways, is that Harbinger is the Star Child, or at least, like, the original version of, and he takes that form of that kid as just a recognizable face to mess with Shepard, because I feel like maybe indoctrination, they were trying to indoctrinate him, but it didn't work. But again, inconsistencies, and, you know, indoctrination theory is an very interesting one. I recommend researching it and looking into it. I co-opt ideas from it, but I feel like the Reapers are trying to indoctrinate Shepard. There's some ideas that maybe even the kid that Shepard watches die isn't even real, and I kind of believe that to a degree. As the Reapers are approaching, approaching Earth, maybe they're starting to, like, from a distance, putting images in Shepard's head because he's had so much interactions with Reaper technology, and they've gotten really close to him, especially after Roe. That's just my thought, you know? But again, the point being, the Star Child, you know, kind of like going to Shepard and going like, okay, you've impressed me, figure out what you want to do with the galaxy. You know, let's shake things up a bit. You know, you destroy the Reapers now, maybe something like it will come back in the future. You take control of the Reapers, maybe some, you know, massive force will come out of another galaxy or something and take over, and that's another thing that goes into Andromeda with the Ket, and, you know, and didn't discuss it in this game, but Mass Effect Andromeda, kind of more of a spin-off than a continuation of the story. Just take a bunch of people, send them to another galaxy if all goes bad, so at least some people stay safe. And so that's where Andromeda comes in, and it's very maligned, but that's another day. And from other things, and again, to go into the backlash, and I feel like the Mass Effect 3 backlash it's had some permanent effects on the game industry, not all entirely positive. Because, yes, looking back, I can see why people found this so upsetting after everything. But 3 games of build-up to lead up to, like, a weird binary choice that just confused everybody, and not really having, like, the outlet to process it properly, or discuss it in much thought, or, you know, but from there, it just, like, and then the backlash came in, BioWare, you know, update, here's another option, here's continuations, here's another, you know, more things, here's add-ons to the ending that didn't really satisfy people, and so it's always been, like, a contentious topic of, did Mass Effect 3 ruin the series? And then from there, there's so much hatred and backlash from Mass Effect 3 that when Andromeda came out, it got that hate, I feel like, crossed over to Andromeda. The contention for 3 carried over to Andromeda, and, you know, it just didn't compare, even though it wasn't trying to be Mass Effect 4, it was trying to be a new spin-off. It was trying to be a new series with a new idea and a new twist. And, you know, and don't get me wrong, Andromeda has a lot of its problems. I really liked it, but I also, like, played it, like, a year later after many patches and all the updates, and it still had a lot of issues. And, again, I've got to replay Andromeda now, too, but I need a break from Mass Effect. God, 100 hours in, I think my last playtime, almost 40 hours, and honestly, I'm still confused by that, because this is like 32 parts in, some videos ranging from an hour, you know, 40 minutes to an hour, couple hour and a halves, but the 40 hours, maybe just on cameras, like all the parts recorded, maybe, some of that is also, some of that's also just like idle time. I left the game on, and I thought like pausing it or going to the Xbox menu would maybe stop it, but maybe it didn't. I'm not sure. But yeah, make final assaults, mission accomplished. Deliver most of the Galaxy at War assets to the final conflict. Ugh, sorry. So yeah, lots of trophies. Kill 10 Guardians with... Oh, okay. So, yeah, a lot going on. Defeat a group of Spectre level... Oh, right, that's probably the... Paramore, 1, 2, 3. Establish or rekindle a relationship in all 3 games of the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I did that! What the hell, game? I did that with Liara in all 3 games. I digress. So, yeah, a lot of the trophies from across the trilogy. I'm wondering what my final, like, gamer score is for this trilogy, but not gonna look it up right now. Where was I? I lost track. But, you know, the contention of... And, you know, there were... Obviously, I can see the problems and why people did not like the Mass Effect 3 ending. Some things were too vague, some things were really sudden, some things were confusing, and, you know, climate at the time, it just led to, contention. But the angry fanboy rage, basically, I feel has left, like, this ripple effect across the gaming community, and so there's just, like, a lot of... This is like I should have researched this topic more, but I feel like when BioWare eventually did cave in to, well, you know, maybe they were planning on doing something anyways. I think the DLC was supposed to come later anyways, but, you know, again, Mass Effect 3 was controversial for a lot of issues, for a lot of reasons. On this DLC with Javik, the first Prothean ally, and he's locked behind a paywall. Introducing loot boxes to the AAA console gaming sphere with the multiplayer. And also now realizing the multiplayer also contributed to how you progress in the single-player game, which really screwed a lot of people over. And then for all that build-up for 3 games to lead to a less than satisfying ending for a lot of people, I can see the contention, although that has, I feel, led to using Mass Effect 3 as like a symbol of, you know, complaining works. And there's plenty of things to complain about in the games industry, but it's just like picking and choosing battles and things worth complaining over, and it's sometimes hard to gauge. And, you know, I'm not a voice on that. I can't tell you what's worth arguing about or anything, but I feel like, if you know what I mean by, like, angry gamers feeling entitled, there is a degree of that, and I feel like a lot of it did come from Mass Effect 3, or at least it validated a lot of it, but that's another thing. But, you know, there was plenty of reason to be upset about Mass Effect 3 for a lot of reasons, but then I feel like using Mass Effect 3 as an example of, you know, finding stupid reasons to start arguments, I'm kind of losing track. I had a point, I was thinking about it, and completely lost it. On top of that, sorry, a lot to say. I do have a drink next to me. I need a... Throat's getting dry. I'm really glad I put that break in, otherwise this video would always be 2 hours long, and I still got a lot to say. But yeah, Mass Effect 3 was controversial for a lot of reasons when it released, and in the retrospect, for what it does, and I remember, yeah, in retrospect, how does Mass Effect 3 hold up as like a standalone? It's still really good. It works off a lot of gameplay stuff off of 2 and enhances it. The leveling system's kind of a mix between 1 and 2, so that works out really well. The gunplay feels a lot better. The weapon variety is there, and a lot of customization that simplifies, you know, just like, you know, having hundreds of mods for weapons and for picking and choosing, swapping in and out. Taking that away from 1 while still giving you weapon mods that can be upgraded, and just simplifies it with a lot of variety. And you can choose, do you want to carry more weapons, or do you just want to use, carrying less weapons, or having one weapon will let you use your biotic powers more. So that's a very good customization to find your middle ground. And even though I stuck with the particle laser the entire time, using some of the other weapons, that gunplay does feel really good. Better than 2, even if by a little bit. Kind of wish there was more variation in the powers, and, you know, some of that's still me playing as a Sentinel the entire time, so that could have had an effect. I was just kind of steadfast in that, so I can't talk about too much variation. But, yeah, there's just, like, a lot to like in 3. The thing about 3 is, you know, the people look at the ending as just sort of like all my decisions to make a binary choice. But really, all your decisions throughout the other games lead up to getting you to that binary choice. And it's about like the culmination of the events from the previous games that lead to the events of the things that happen in 3. Everything comes together, or at least most important things, and they have long-standing effects and contribute to the war effort to prepare you for everything. Stuff you've done has contributed more to this. You know, if you save the Rachni Queen in 1 and then have Max Grunt, or, you know, have Grunt loyal to you and survive in 2, then in 3, you recruit the Rachni and Grunt, giving you a massive bonus to your war effort. Or decisions you made in 2 will affect how the Quarians and Geth interact in 3, leading up to them coming together and bringing peace between the two groups. There's so many things. Kasumi, one of my favorite things, actually, was when you're working with that Solarian Spectre and trying to hunt down the Hanar. And I remember when I first played it in 2, either you save the Spectre or you save the Hanar homeworld, the Hanar homeworld. You can't do both. But because you had Kasumi with you from everything you did with her in 2, got her loyal, and, you know, she survived the suicide mission, you're rewarded with winning both sides. You keep the Spectre alive, and you save the Hanar homeworld, because Kasumi is there to help you. And that's just, like, cool stuff where it's like, you know, you are rewarded with more and more if you do certain things in the other games. And also, apparently, if you just play Mass Effect 3 as a standalone game, you can make options to get, like, a big boost to war effort just to keep you on par. So even if you have not played the other 2 games, you can still get the war effort you need to finish 3, which is fine. That's also very fair, and makes it very consistent to do. But, you know, doing all the stuff you did leads to characters coming back, and arrivals, and interesting, you know, extra pieces that come into play in 3 that just lead to this culmination of just, like, you know, culminating and saying goodbye to these characters that over the course of many years when the trilogy originally released meant a lot to people. And even in this short period, you know, playing everything back to back, it's still just sort of like, you know, you're with these characters through the thickest and the thinnest, and it just feels so good to see everyone come this far, develop new personalities and change and grow and unite. You know, there's something really inspiring about seeing the galaxy unite and come together and find peace And with the synthetic ending, again, with that kind of like looking forward, like how it actually came together, that's also kind of cool. It's just sort of like everyone understands each other, and from there we can come together and just create. We can make, the world better by understanding the plight of every type of being in the galaxy. And, that's very, again, inspiring. So I like that. I really do. But that brings up, Mass Effect 4. That is supposedly on the way, and, as much as I'm talking about how cool everything in Mass Effect is, the things with BioWare, though, with, the crunch and the worker abuse and the other management problems that come from BioWare, because starting with Dragon Age Inquisition, that then went on to Mass Effect Andromeda, so that's kind of why Andromeda was a mess, because it was a rushed, crunched game with very poor management, and then that led to Anthem, a live service game that completely toppled. It leads to so much, and EA's mishandling of many studios, or like Visceral, shutting them down. Not too long ago, they announced Dead Space 1 is getting a remake, but we're not gonna bring anyone back from Visceral, we're just gonna remake an old game to a series we deliberately destroyed and mistreated. Dead Space. I say this as if I'm a big fan, I have not even finished one, but, Dead Space, what EA's done like many studios across the years, the combination of BioWare and EA is not a good combo, and while they can still make magic, it's not worth the abuse, it's not worth the destruction that they, make along the way. So that makes we seen the results with Andromeda, how that worked out. The crunch, the abuse, the uncertainty, and, I'll vouch for Andromeda, but, the problems aren't worth its creation. And then there's the teasing for 4, which kind of seems like EA is going back to the well. It's like, people like Mass Effect, let's continue on with Mass Effect. So work off of 3, which is gonna have to confirm what ending is real. I'm really curious. On one hand, I'm curious how that's gonna carry over. What is gonna happen in Mass Effect 4 that's supposedly gonna carry on the story of Shepard after all this? There's literally nothing else in the galaxy unless maybe the Ket from Andromeda and whatever they were following show up. And that's a whole thing. It's not going to be... It shouldn't be a Reaper level threat, and it couldn't be, because now the Reapers are on our side, or are gone. And, that's the thing. Mass Effect 4 is going to confirm which ending is canon, and that's going to piss people off too. And the prevailing theory is Destroy is the canon ending, where, and it happens in this game where, if you pick the Destroy ending and you have a high enough, war readiness, the 7,800, you cut to a scene of seeing, what could be Shepard's body breathing. So there's a hint that with the Destroy ending, that's the only ending where Shepard properly survives. And that's the thought. And if Shepard's coming back for 4, that means, theory is that's how he's coming back, is because you choose the Destroy ending, and that's the canon. And maybe we'll see. Maybe there's weird ways how, in the controller, the synthetic ending, Shepard could survive because, sci-fi magic. But we'll have to see when 4 gets more details, because that was announced years ago, if I recall. That teaser trailer, I'm just curious if I look up Mass Effect 4 teaser. What? Oh, only 7 months ago? I thought it was like a few years ago. Okay, yeah, Mass Effect 4 teaser from the 2020 Game Awards, which has Liara going through some snow, supposedly finding Shepard, or in search of Shepard, or, maybe Mass Effect 4 will just be the continuation of, supposedly Shepard's supposed to come back, but maybe the series could just carry on. Maybe it's about Liara, maybe it's about somebody else. Will progress from this trilogy carry over into 4? That's a lot of speculation that we could be on here for hours. But yeah, Mass Effect has done a lot. It's Mass Effect as a series, as a trilogy, as this whole piece is still really enjoyable. And there's a lot to like. The world building, the different aliens, the different characterizations, the personalities, and just like the build up to all these choices and like the political theory you can get into. Even though it's binary choice, it's not as nuanced as it could be, or, you know, it's as nuanced as it needed to be for the time. And so carrying that over, you know, there is qualms with the binary choice system, the obviously good answer to the obviously evil answer, and I can't see how being obviously evil will actually help. But, you know, I've not done a full Renegade run. Don't think I really will, because I don't see a point to it. But, Jesus, sorry, my voice is starting to go. This is going on for a long time. Oh, God, it's already midnight. I did not think it was that late already. No, I wanted to get this done tonight. But, yeah, it's just sort of like, the trilogy, again, and I remember saying this at the end of 2, and I feel like it still holds strong. Mass Effect 1 lays down the brickwork. It introduces you to the world. It's the weakest game in the franchise, because of its gameplay, of its storytelling, of its, like, wasting time, the Mako. You know, it's the weakest of the series, in my opinion. You know, including Andromeda. It's the weakest game, but it lays out the brickworks for the world. It gets you invested. If you can slog through it, it gets you into the world. It introduces you to the characters, it introduces you to, like, the concepts, it gets you invested in Mass Effect. Mass Effect 2, then, takes all the qualities of 1 and enhances on almost everything. It builds a castle with the bricks that 1 laid down. Kind of like how building the Crucible, if you will. But, the gameplay's a lot better, the powers feel more impactful, the weapon play is a lot better, the characterization is great. Again, the politics of working for Cerberus, an obvious kind of like fascist group, but at least it's interesting to, like, discuss the politics of that, undermine them in my case, and meet all these new characters along the way that you can convert to your side, pointing out, like, the fallacies with Cerberus, the Elusive Man's ideals, and, you know, bringing everybody together in order to, you know, spite Cerberus despite everything they do. But it does so much cool stuff with a great crescendo to the suicide mission where you have to be a good commander to make sure. You have to know your crew, you have to know your skills, you have to know your crew in order to get everybody out there alive. You know, I'm playing it up a little bit, but it's a really good final mission to test how well you know everyone's abilities, effects, what they can do, how they can sort things out. You know, you get to know your crew so intimately, from the new characters to the old characters. It's really good. And with the DLC additions, with, like, Shadow Broker and Arrival, add a lot. Firewalker and Overlord, not so much, I feel, but that's a conversation. Meanwhile, 3, you know, 1 lays down the bricks, 2 builds the castle, 3, by design, has to destroy the castle. And I don't mean that in the bad way, because it adds more to it, where it takes up on 2, gives you a ton of character. You know, you can just spend hours talking to characters about all the events that have culminated throughout the game, and it leads to great moments of just, like, you know, finalizing your romances. The Citadel DLC, which is one of the best things this series has to offer. It is so worth it. And just, like, the talking, the conversations, the character interactions, the personalities butting heads and mingling and mixing, it just culminates into everything coming together, and it's all in service of building up for that final fight to get you to that last choice, which, contentious, and I understand why. I'm oddly satisfied with my synthetic ending. At least, that's how I feel now. Maybe more introspection in the moment. I am exhausted. I'm exhausted. I'm just in a mood. So maybe my judgment's a little clouded, but as far as I'm concerned, that was a very satisfying ending despite everything. And after like 100 hours, 100 hours, I think I've been playing this trilogy. Mass Effect 1, yeah, I think I was playing for 20-something hours. I think it was close to 30. I don't remember. And BioWare and Mass Effect 2 won't tell you your playtime, but it must have been at least 30 hours, at least. I'm just checking something real quick. Whoops. Citadel, okay, in less than 20 hours. But okay, I could have done more, I wanted to do more, but kind of got point of no returns, which they should signpost that a lot better. Anyways, yeah, and then Mass Effect 2, which doesn't give me my play time, but I think it was like at least 30. And then Mass Effect 3, mainly with a lot of confusion, because the thing is, the Citadel's cool to walk around in. There's a lot of little interactions you can, like interjecting in conversations and finding items throughout space and resources to give to people to help out. But it kind of leaves a confusing note of, like, how do you deliver any of this? Yeah, it doesn't tell me my final playtime, which is really odd. So, but I think it's got to be at least 30 hours, I think. And that was doing basically everything. And then Mass Effect 3, almost 40 hours. So, you know, to get through this trilogy over the course of, like, the last 2 months, because I got this not too long after release, and it released, like, May 23rd, I think. It is July 27th as of recording. So, yeah, 2 months over the course, 100 hours over the course of 2 months to get through the entire trilogy in my messed up, scheduled way. And overall, there is still something really satisfying about the Mass Effect series. And I did enjoy what this series brought to, you know, I enjoy that this series is here. And I will definitely play it again someday, but I'm going to need a break. I really got to play Andromeda 2 just to get my thoughts on the entire franchise at this point. But I need a break from Mass Effect. I got like a list of indie games and stuff I want to play. I'm really excited for Death's Door. That's been out for a couple of days. And I want to get to that. There was a new game by Variable States that made Virginia. I really want to check that out. Mortal Kombat 11, I got that. But, you know, there's a lot of other games I want to play, but I've been focusing on Mass Effect 3. I have not even edited, as of recording, I have not edited a single video of the Mass Effect 3 Let's Play. I'm 32 parts in, have not rendered a single part, so I really hope there have not been any issues with the recordings, because I have not checked. So, here's hoping everything comes together alright. Okay, I feel like there's a lot more I could say. I could keep going, I could keep rambling forever, but we really gotta wrap up. I am very tired, and I could just keep on going. Maybe if I think of something new, I'll bring it up in Andromeda, but I feel like there's more subjects I want to tackle, but Jesus, I think I'm done. My throat's getting sore, I'm very tired, it is past midnight. I think it's time to put this to bed. Okay, so with that all, yeah, still highly recommend the Mass Effect trilogy. I recommend giving it a try. You know, even at full price, you know, for 3 big games, it doesn't look, you know, Mass Effect didn't look really great at the time. It doesn't look really great now, even with the updates and everything, but it still doesn't look bad. Still some very good spectacles, some very beautiful shots, and you know, for $60 at full price, although then the debate comes, do you want to support EA or BioWare after all they've done? And, you know, that's a fair argument, and I definitely didn't consider that when I bought the series, and so that kind of makes me feel bad on a couple of remarks. But nevertheless, I'm also bad-mouthing them every step of the way, so it doesn't make it better, but that's just my way of justifying it. But yeah, I highly recommend the Mass Effect trilogy if you just want to see like arguably one of the most influential series in the gaming culture, and its after effects, kind of like, you know, its after effects have been felt throughout the gaming industry since, and it will still continue to inspire, even if whatever comes after this trilogy has continued to be, you know, debated in quality, if you will. So we'll see what happens if 4 ever comes out, and we'll just see what the future has in store for this galaxy. So, with that all being said, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, like and subscribe and all that. This is Timmara, signing off, and thank you for watching me play Mass Effect 3. And if you somehow got through all of my nonsense and watched all my other Let's Plays on the series, thank you for watching me play the Mass Effect Legendary Edition.